Hello, guys. Welcome to Life in Mandyland. I'm so excited about this one today. Okay, so first off, I normally say three reasons why I'm doing this podcast. Number one is to raise up the leaders of the world, the ones who are doing the work and who are out here every single day, all the time, uplifting the collective and encouraging them, exhorting them, healing them, helping them. And I want to honor them. And just by having them here, and I have one today I'm so excited about, which you're going to find all about Lydia. And then second reason is if you're going, okay, so I always say this, but this is to also heal my inner child, the one that was told to sit down, shut up, be quiet, you cannot be seen, you cannot be heard. So now I'm letting her free, and I'm really excited about that. And honestly, obviously, if you want to go read my book, Total Darkness, it's all my story right here. All the juicy details, everything about my life, it's right in here. So it's on Amazon. Third reason why is we are sharing life and living loved. And yeah, so the first things I do. Oh, one more thing. I wrote a 7-day soul plunge because I've been hearing people talk about how miserable and how hurt and upset they are about their life. And so I wrote a seven days for you to have me for 7 days to coach you and help you and be right there with you. So I will link that below. And without further ado, first thing I do with my guests is tell them how they made me feel. And I get to tell Lydia how she has made me feel. I've been following Lydia for a long time on TikTok. She is on live Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. And every morning. I mean, every one of those mornings. And she also does like all kinds of healing work that we're going to find out all about. But Lydia, when I first met you, or when I first saw you, because this is the first time like you're seeing me face to face, but I've seen you 100,000 times, which is wonderful because this is what happens in the morning. Because I work like late at night. I'm a night owl. I stay up late. So in the mornings, if I'm going through menopause and everything, so my sleep schedule's really whack. So in the mornings, I'll jump on, and the first thing, whenever I look at my phone, I go to TikTok, I look up in the thing, and I see Lydia, and this is what happens. Lydia, like every single time, okay? Every single time. This is what comes out of my mouth. I mean, no one's around, but I'm just smiling so big and I'm going, Lydia. So
Aw.
it's the sweetest like sigh of because your energy, who you are, your essence, your love, the way you like truly every single person you do a collective sometimes or most times, and then you also and you do like healing the collective, and then you also you talk and you chat. You've also got this glorious like music or frequencies going on behind you, and it's just so soothing that a lot of the times it just puts me right back to sleep, which I need sleep. So it's just like I am sitting there. I mean, and I'll send my heart me's, I'll send my all the things first and let you know I'm there, and then I'm just like, and just like, but I'm being healed as you're doing your thing. Like I am being healed. And then a lot of it, I'm just sitting there just like taking it all in. And I'm telling you, anybody who comes into your lives, they will be transformed. They will be healed. And you are making a huge impact. And I have to say that since I am 51, to me, like in human years, you are young. But I know that you have been here lifetimes. So I was going to ask you, do you feel like you've been here lifetimes?
Yeah.
But anyway, so this is how you made me feel. And I can't wait to like dive in. I want you to introduce yourself, and I want you to tell everybody what you do. And then I want to hear like about your life and how you got to doing what you're doing. So thank you so much for being here. I love you. I feel like my soul knows you and has known you for a lifetime. So
Oh, I love that so much, and thank you for those kind words. It's always nice to hear from the other side of the camera what people are feeling, and there's so many vast people that come to that live space, and so it's always fun to hear what people are receiving. So I love that. Again, I'm so sorry about the birds if you're hearing them very loud. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, no, it like I'm listening, but I can actually hear you over them, and it's not like it might be loud to you, but it seems kind of faint, so that's good.
Okay, good. So anyways, I have been, my healing journey, or my journey to becoming a healer, is very nuanced. There's a lot of interesting play in it because it has felt like it has been me, like it's my whole life. And so even when I was younger, like, I grew up in the church. I grew up Baptist, and so I had always learned about Yeshua and all of the different practices that he did as a healer, and that was my first like influence, right? I was very, I was such a go-getter. I was such like a Jesus freak, is kind of how I described myself when I was younger. And I'm so grateful to have such a beautiful family that really respects and reveres the message of Yeshua and things like that, even though they were still in the church and um, all that comes with that. So that was my first initial connection to healing and what that looked like. I respected it from a young age. And then when I went to college, my first moment of like awakening kind of happened, and this was in 2019. So again, I'm 25 years old, and it's crazy because, like you said, I don't feel that way. Most of my friends are like 50s, 40s, like older, so it's like really nuanced in all of that. But yeah, I went to college, and this was 2019 to 2020, and there was a moment in my body that I just remembered myself, and it was like this moment of pure bliss. And I had all of this remembrance come into my body, and it was so intense that at that time, like, anytime I would get these huge downloads of myself and these fractals of me, it would be so intense. I would kind of like shake, my body would shake, and it would kind of like feel like a seizure was happening. And that was the first kind of inkling or clue that something was going on, that I was different than some other people, or I don't know what was happening. At that time, it was very scary for me because I was like, what is going on? How was I asleep this whole time? How am I aware of everything now? Like, I was so aware of everything when that happened, like energies and intentions, and I could like feel like I could read people's thoughts and all of this stuff coming at me all at once. And simultaneously, alongside of that, I was still very involved in the church. I was a worship leader. I was, I met my college roommate because we had that same Christianity background and we wanted to be roommates together. And during that time as well, while my soul was like, hey, you can be authentic, and all of these soul fractals came back in, my body had to stop hiding something, and that something was my sexuality and being openly like gay at that time. And so that was such a hard thing that happened for me because, like I said, again, there was this deep bliss that came in through my body of like, oh my gosh, this is me, I remember who I am. But then right after that moment, it was like, oh my gosh, so much shame, so much hatred, so much negativity. And I went into my dark night of the soul, which now I know is very needed, and it was initiatory, but at that time it was terrifying. And during that time, I like lost basically everyone in my life. Like, I lost all of my friends within the church. I got kicked out of certain churches and environments. I was not allowed to do leadership anymore. And my heart has always been for like worship and music and reverence to the divine and all of these things. And so to be kicked out just because of this part of me that felt so real and so raw just didn't make sense to me. Like, it didn't logically make sense, but I still kept trying. So there was like years and years of me trying to still find like this Christian respect and connection. And I eventually even got involved in like a pretty intense like cult, like Christian cult environment, where we were going out and evangelizing every day, that we were connecting, and I was writing songs and worshiping for them, but at that same time I was still having this pull of like, no, like, I feel like I want to be with women, and I also feel like some of my ideas about God are different than these other people. And so that was really interesting. At some point, I actually got kicked out of the cult because I was such in a bad mental state. I was going kind of in and out of the psych ward at that time, like on suicide watch and all of these things, because of how ashamed I was to be human and how ashamed I was to exist. And again, I think in a lot of times Christianity holds this negativity towards life, right? You're born into sin. You're such a sinner. All of these sin. And so as someone that was like, I feel like I can't not be gay, I just felt I was carrying this energy of sin. I thought I was a sin. And so I really thought it would be so much better for humanity, for the world, for everyone if I just wasn't here. And that was that, you know, that took a toll on me. It was a couple of years of that deep density, that deep darkness. But in those moments of deep darkness, of just praying and praying and praying, like, God, take away my life, don't let me live in the morning, I would go into this deep space of darkness, and I would like kind of just stop breathing. I just let myself die in that moment. And when those moments of me stopped breathing, I met Mother God. And Mother God was this energy of the depth of the womb, the depths of the darkness. And she would like kind of bring me back to life. And in those moments also of me in those deep darkness moments, I would get these flashbacks or these flash forwards to my future and what I was meant to do and how I was meant to heal others. And I didn't understand it. I didn't understand any of it, but I knew it felt right and it felt real. And I was like, okay, just take another deep breath in. And then I would like kind of come back to life. And this had happened so many times where it was like those death experiences that had happened where we kind of just like internally die and die to ourselves and choose ourselves over and over again. Because sometimes it can be really hard to want to live in this reality. Um, so eventually, after I, you know, got out of the missions trip era of wanting to like change my life through missions trips, I eventually kind of had a week in the psych ward, and that was kind of my, again, another one of those deaths where I was like, okay, this isn't working. Obviously, this Christianity thing is not working. The way that they're viewing me is not working. I got to change something. And I fully came into myself and my own connection to God, because the thing is, throughout all of that time, I still had such respect for God. I had such respect for the journey, and I was hearing God being like, Lydia, I love you. You're okay. Like, just be you. And I heard the church being like, you're a terrible person. You're a sinner. Like, you can't be in leadership. You can't be doing any of this stuff. And it was so confusing for me. So then I, again, just left the church and came into myself. And when I came into myself, again, there was this another awakening, this other remembrance of like, oh my gosh, I know who I am. Going back a little bit, when I was in that cult church environment, we did have something that I would call now a meditation, which they wouldn't call that. But it was this moment where we got into a still space and we asked God what our name was. And in that moment, when I asked God, what is my name? Instantly I got healer. And it was so loud, it was so clear. It was my first time ever audibly hearing God. And so from that moment, I got healer in Hebrew tattooed on my wrist. And later, after I got out of the cult church environment, I hated the tattoo. I was like, this was all a lie. I hate everything. Like, I was in that, again, that another moment of dark night, like, oh, this is so frustrating. How did I believe in this stuff? And then I came back, and like Spirit had been giving me information about what it is to be like a healer in my body and what it is to be a healer just spiritually. And all of these like memories were coming back to me of being a healer. And then I was like, okay, this obviously was given to me for a reason. I'm going to look into this and figure it out. And at that time, I was also, you know, I'm very grateful that I'm younger. So TikTok was available, Reiki TikTok was available. And so that was like my clutch, was just like every day after I got out of work, like the only thing that soothed me was like energy healing. And I would come home and just like listen to these people or like feel the energy. And I was like, I know that I need to do this. This is where my heart is. And so yeah, that's kind of the trajectory over to me like getting into healing spaces. And throughout that time, I continued to cultivate that conversation with God, that clairaudience, the ability to like hear God and asking God questions and listening, deeply hearing the words, and just kind of following that path. So that's kind of where I got today. Yeah. Let me know if you have any questions from that.
That is incredible. Um, okay, hold on one second. My pen is not working. Oh wait, never mind. I'm good. Because I'm writing down stuff as you're talking. Um, but that's incredible. And this is the reason why I wanted you on here, is because when I see you as a healer, I know you've been through some shit. I just know it. I know that you've been through dark nights of the soul, awakening. Sometimes I call them shit storms, which really are awakenings. Because it's intense, right? It is when you're in those places, you just described that so well, even in the depth of the darkness, and how scary that was. But in that moment, tell me again, like you called it mother, did you call it mother God, or how did you say that?
Yeah, I call her Mother God, but it's like the divine goddess, the womb. And for me, it was um, so growing up with Christianity, it's always this male God, this patriarchal God, and it never felt fully safe for me. I never had a great connection with my dad. And so like just having that masculine God didn't feel fully real, or like didn't feel fully right. Like I knew that there was another part. And so that's when like the mother God energy came in, and she was just this caretaker, and she just held me and like let me feel in my pain. And that was the beautiful part. Like she wasn't trying to change me or change those emotions. She just gave me the space to feel them. And that was just something that was like inspiring for me. Was like, oh, I can just be here, and like this is okay that I can be in my darkness for a moment, and I can respect it and I can honor it. And through that, there's transformation, and I can come back up. And also at that time, I had gotten diagnosed with bipolar disorder. So I was very used to these highs and these lows. And I had understood through all of these highs and these lows that I was going through that if I hit rock bottom, eventually I would go back up. And so that was like that alchemy process that I learned at a young age, was like, okay, let me just feel it. Let me just go there. Let me release. Let me feel the pain of death and let myself rebirth into something new.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, rock bottom. Oh my God. Because I have experienced that so many times. My last guest, she was talking about the exact same thing about hitting rock bottom over and over again. But I love how you just said that. Like when you hit rock bottom, you know from rock bottom, you know where you're going. You're going back up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's taken me a really long time to realize that, because when you're in those rock bottom moments, it is so intense that sometimes you don't even know if you're going to come out of it, right? But they're there for a reason. And oh my God. Okay, so many things. Okay, let me go back to the mother God thing, because when I hear people talk about, you know, my mom, she was she was a devout Christian. I was too at one time. And if you go, like, my second podcast is all about my Christian church trauma story. And my husband and I sit down and we talk about everything. And it was really hard to do because I've forgiven all of the things. It's just that I needed to express it, right? And where I was at the time. But yeah, my mom was like a devout, and so and for her, God, the Father. And at one time it was for me too, but since I've done my transformation, and come more and more into, because one of the first things you said is remembering who you are, right? And like when as I'm becoming, like as I'm remembering more and more who I am, I don't know. I mean, I cannot tell you that whenever I hear someone say Mother God, or like identify God as a female or a woman or nurturing, I can't tell you what that does to my body, because it is so soothing. Like it just, like, everything melts off. You know what I mean? It's like when I hear like God being a male and like all of this other stuff, I'm like you. I don't identify with that, you know? It's just so soothing and nurturing and loving, whenever I think about it. So every single time, it never fails. If I'm listening to anybody and they talk about this, my whole body goes, you know what I mean? It's just so soothing. And I love it. I love it so much. And that I don't I mean, I listen to my body now and what it's doing. Um but yeah, just I'm so excited about just everything you just talked about, because there's so many people out there right now, seriously, that, you know what I mean? Like, you are incredible to be able to share, all of this stuff, because how many people are right now in that place of trying to, want to commit suicide or want to get out of it, because they've been told all of this BS that's not true about them, and you articulated all of that so well. Like, I'm just like, because like I said, I think about so many people. That's why I'm doing this, is because I so many people, and I know you're a healer, I'm a healer, and like, we are, just the people that you can touch and the people that, like, that you can affect, and how, in the moments, the darkness and all the things that I've been hearing people talk about incorporating all of that darkness into one, like how would you explain that? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a beautiful question, because one of the main things that I know that I'm here on earth to do is to bring balance of light and dark, and also the feminine and the masculine. And so as much as even we talk about Mother God, I've also then come to respect back to the Father God as well, and holding that respect and that reverence and that balance for Mother God, Father God, and Child God, which is us in our body, and holding the balance of those two. And I think it's really important to hold reverence to the darkness. I think a lot of times in, spirituality, we hear about like love and light and all of this stuff, like raising your vibration and creating a higher frequency so we can all heal. And I think that that's beautiful. I think it's a great place to start. But I think if you're neglecting the shadow aspect of self, you're neglecting the other half of you. And that's the feminine side. That is the side that has been neglected in society for a very long time through the patriarchy and all of these things. And so holding respect for the darkness as the feminine moving through you and getting out some of this old stuff, I think is very, very important. But and it's, for me, I do hold this like gender fluidity as well, that I hold my feminine and my masculine in reverence within me. And yeah, there's a lot of like interesting nuance with that, because a lot of the world and society still doesn't know how to handle that. But for me, it's simply just respecting all aspects of self. But yeah, I think like just holding respect for the darkness, the density, even like the anger, and like letting that come forward, because a lot of times if we're just trying to surpass the emotions of anger or frustration, then we're just pushing it down more and more and more until it kind of explodes or has to come out on its own. And I just don't think that that's the best way to navigate in life. I think, bring that darkness to the forefront. Let it be seen, let it be expressed, let it move. It wants to express, it wants to dance, it wants to scream, it wants to move all around, so that then we can kind of come into that center of the balance, feminine, masculine balance, light and dark. And then we kind of create this space of cohesion within our body. Maybe that made sense, maybe it didn't. I hope that answered your
Oh,
question.
oh, that makes perfect sense. And the balance of it all. It really is like you said, the male and the female, the masculine, the feminine, the child, all all three in one,
Yeah,
and the balance of it all. Because you
yeah,
can't, and I always said, like one of the things I've learned is if you meet an extreme in your life, there's an extreme here, right? And then you bounce over here and you go to this extreme, but somewhere you're going to find the flow and the balance,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's alchemy work, right? Anything that we're coming up to, there's always a counterbalance that we can kind of balance it out. And like what I feel is like this energetic pH balance. So like we have some anger over here, then we have some peace over here that we're bringing in, and then we kind of just like figure it out. We let both exist at the same time. I think sometimes we think like it's only one thing or another. It's very black and white thinking in the world, but holding space for and, like having two things at once, can really create harmony in the body. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, I love it so much.
Yeah.
Um, what else would you talk about? Okay, so how comfortable are you just telling everybody your upbringing? I mean, obviously you talked about a little bit about your upbringing, but I do this because I want people to know where, it is, I don't, this is something is in me, the inspiration here of where you were. You know what I mean? Growing up, you said you were a Christian and you were in the church, and I understand that because we were worship leaders for years. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
And we were like, and I like how you said that. The cult and you trying so hard to stay, like you were like the tug of war here, and how is like, okay, so even now, like with your parents, like how are they with, because I understand, and I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you a story here, okay? um my daughter, one of my daughters got back in church, and because she wasn't for a long time, and her and her husband and their kids or whatever, and she called me one day and she goes, "Mama, I just want to let you know that we're going back to church." And I said, "Okay." She said, "But I want to let you know that it's not going to affect our relationship. It's not going to affect anything." But see, I took that with a grain of salt because I know exactly what this does. And
Yeah.
so, you know what I mean? And so before I knew it, it began to get in the way of a lot of things. But and it was painful, very painful, right? Because, my grandkids and all the things. But I had to love myself and honor where I am, and I had to love her and where she was. You know what I mean? And we've been figuring it out. We've been figuring it out. Like as we go along, we're figuring it out. But I had to get to where I'm going to be honest and open, like you. The freedom and being honest and open to yourself and allowing yourself to be 100% free, remembering who you are, regardless of what anybody else is doing, right? It's
Mhm.
powerful because
Yeah.
we do need to remember, who we are on a constant basis all the time.
Yeah. So my childhood, stereotypical Christian conservative family, but it goes a little bit even further because my parents were like the homeschooling type as well. So we
Yeah.
had like deep homeschool programming and all of that stuff. And like everything in our house has a Bible verse. Like my mom has a huge cross wall that has like over like 70 crosses. It's insane. It's beautiful. I hold reverence to that, but it's also like it's a lot. Like they have a deep intensity, and my parents, like their bond in life is because of their religiosity, and like that's how they kind of stay connected. But yeah, throughout my life, I held that deep respect and reverence for uh, the heavens and the divine, because when I was younger, I would experience a lot of sleep anxiety, sleep paralysis, seeing things in my dreams, like all of this stuff. And I had such bad sleep anxiety that, like, literally the only thing that would soothe me was like praying Bible verses or praying to God or having that personal, interpersonal connection with God. And so I'm very grateful to an extent that I had those experiences, because my relationship with God started at a young age and it genuinely was there. It wasn't something that was like just for what people saw me as. Like, I wasn't going to put necessarily a Bible verse in my bio, but I genuinely had connection with God in my heart. And I think that I noticed from a young age that not everyone was like that. Like, I was the type of person in worship, I was raising my hand and I was feeling the Spirit. And I also would look around and be like, some people aren't connected with this, and I don't understand why. But I like had always felt that deep connection with God, and I'm very grateful for that. But yeah, growing up, there was a lot of things that I just couldn't express and couldn't be myself as, and I was very numb to myself and my own truth, because I knew that it wasn't safe to be that in my house. And that's why, like, all of the awakening happened like once I got to college and I moved out of the house for the first time. Like, everything came at me like, this is you, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is insane. Like, am I allowed to be me? Is this okay to be me? But in those moments in my like childhood, I was very dissociative. So there's like a lot of, like, I was just like a little daydreamer, just like lost in the sauce of life. And so a lot of my memories of childhood are really not there that much because of how sensitive I was to all energy, and just decided to dissociate out of it anyways, because it was just easier that way. But in those spaces, it felt like I was like always manifesting like a better life like this. And I was like dreaming of what was better for me. And now it's really beautiful because I get to have that life that I've dreamed of. But now I am living back with my parents right now because I'm about to leave on my van life journey, which I'm very grateful for. And they've been hosting me for this past year, but they're still deeply very Christian. And there is a lot of nuance to it, because sometimes we'll even like be praying before dinner and I can feel like these pointed prayers towards me of like, me like being, a bad person of some capacity. Or like sometimes they'll wear shirts that are very pointed of like, don't question God. And I'm like, okay, like whatever. And there's just like an aggressive energy. But the thing that I try to do always is lead by example. And I've always been like this since a kid. Like, I've been teaching my parents things since I was younger. Like, there was just something inside of me. Like, I was just like, I feel like the parent. Um, and so I always try to lead by example and lead with respect. And so I try to respect their religious views so that maybe in return they might see that respect and respect my beliefs as well. And there's a lot of times where I've had conversations, because there's so much overlap with Christ consciousness, spirituality, and, Christianity and the religiosity of it. And so, yeah, we've had a lot of these conversations where I kind of stretch their mind for a second. And after that moment, they like deeply dislike me for like 2 weeks or something, and then they kind of like get out of it. But I'm here to kind of witness their evolution and their spiritual awakening, and however that looks. And it might not, they might not get to a certain point, and that's okay. But I just want them to like expand and like see that it doesn't have to be all suppression and shame and like hate to self, because that was a lot of what I felt in the church. But yeah, I think again, I'm very grateful though that my parents are, as much as they are religious, they're very Christ-centered, like in their heart. And so like they can see me. They can see me as a vessel of light. They can see me as a vessel of Christ, but they also have a little bit of jealousy towards it because they don't understand how I got to where I'm at and was able to move through that darkness. Because anytime I like have a conversation with them, it triggers them into their darkness, and they don't like that. And so then they suppress back into more religiosity and more of their faith. And that's their journey, and I respect it for them, but I'm still going to be here to be me, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
because, I mean, you met a place in yourself that is so free. You know what I mean? This freedom, this just, there's no limits, right? And you, of course, you love them so much. You would love for them to feel that way,
Yeah.
right? And I know exactly what you're talking about. My mom, she did not get it. She would just look at me. She would just stare at me. It was like a mind fuck, right? Like, like you didn't understand, like, how can you be so free, but yet you're doing things like I don't understand. My
Yeah.
mom passed away 3 years ago, but I knew that she was never going to be free here. I knew that. And
Mm-hmm.
once she passed, I heard her say to me, she's come to me many times. And she's like, well, she's my right hand man now, right? But and she even told me like I couldn't fully see you. I saw you, but I couldn't fully see you. And
Mm-hmm.
that and now, she told me many times, that was one of the first things she said to me is, I see you now, honey.
Oh.
I see you. And it like my relationship to her has healed since she's been passed.
Oh
That
yeah.
is how we really healed is once because I knew that it wasn't going to happen here. But I mean, we loved each other deeply, and I know exactly what you're talking about. Your parents love you, you love them. It's like this deep love, you know? And yeah, it is powerful. And oh yeah, I just said both of those I wrote down. But that's just incredible how you
Well, and then I might maybe take it a different direction because I
yeah.
kind of want to talk about my light codes because I do this thing online where I like share light through music and move energy with my hands and all of this stuff. And I hadn't seen a lot of people do this when I first felt it come through me. And it was really interesting. And it was when I started really getting into my spiritual journey and really holding reverence and having a practice and all of this stuff. And I would get on my yoga mat, I would listen to some music, and then automatically my hands would just move. And they would do this thing, and I was like, I don't know what's happening, but it feels good and it helps me. And it's like my body is moving and things feel good. And it was now what I know is like light codes, and it's moving energy, and there's a flow of like untangling all of these energetic knots in my body and allowing me to be free. But again, it was like this remembering, like there was this knowing. I'd been training for this before. It was like what I knew. And so when it first started coming in, I heard very clearly, you have to share this with the world. And I had only seen like 2 other people ever do anything close to that when I first started posting this. And again, the internet is very vast. There's probably a lot of people that do these things. But when I first started posting, probably back in 2023, of these light codes, it wasn't, there was no one else that was doing it, but I just knew that I was meant to do it. So I started, kind of sharing this light, and then more and more people started enjoying what I was sharing. They were like, I don't know what I'm feeling, but I'm feeling something and I like it. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing either. And again, Spirit would continue to just give me more and more information about what I was doing and how it was helping. And at that time, I was working at Starbucks. I was finishing my bachelor's degree in human development and family studies, which I'm very grateful for because it was a great foundation. And then I graduated from college, and I was just like, I need to do this. This is my life. This is what I need to do. Because I wanted to be a therapist, and as I was in therapy, I was like, there's like, it is not fast enough. Like, there's something I want to do more tangibly. I want to move energy. I want to connect with someone's soul deeper than just their mind, because that was something I felt was missing in therapy, because I got into physical therapy and I was like, oh my gosh, somatics, mind body connection, oh my gosh. And then I was working with the soul, and I was like, oh my gosh, the Trinity, I have to work with the mind, body, and soul. And so that's kind of my slogan now, is like, I'm Lydia, I work with the mind, body, and soul to help accelerate human consciousness. And that's really truly what it is. It's working with all of those components of allowing the mind to hear what I'm speaking, translating information from the heavens, speaking to the mind, letting the mind relax, letting the body relax, teaching the body to relax, and also still hearing these soul connections and these soul messages that are coming through. So that's kind of my practice now, is working with the mind, body, and soul. But it started with just some of these like light codes that came through when I was on my yoga mat, and it's accelerated to where I'm at now, and it's very vast and beautiful in the quantum field.
Oh,
Yeah.
hell yeah. Like, and I'm glad you talked about that because that was definitely something I was gonna I wanted you to tap into that because it's incredible how you're doing it because I mean like I'm watching you and you like how you it's like you separate yourself like you it's like I'm watching you take the deep breaths, you know, and like you yourself to be able to tap into someone else's energy in their body and where they are and you're working like all the way from the top to the bottom, you know,
Yeah.
all the chakras and everything. And
Yeah.
you're doing it like intuitively, like you said. It's like you're channeling and like it's intuitively happening. And you even I was telling my husband the other day that you even like tap into deities and things like that that I absolutely love. And I was gonna ask you like what's your I know you've talked about them before, but like what's your favorite deities to like tap into?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think the main one is just my higher self,
Yeah.
because that higher self, um, for me, is like the strongest teacher that I have. And it's me, right? I am the teacher. And so that's my favorite one to tune into, the one that I tune into the most. But there's a lot of different guides that I work with all around the realms that are those teachers. Like Mary Magdalene and Yeshua are really close to my heart because of the background in Christianity. But I really love working with Anubis and Hecate down in the lower realms, or even the Angel of Death down in the lower realms. And then also in the higher realms, I love the seraphim, the angelics, all of the higher beings there. I love the celestial beings. I'm very connected. I feel very connected as being a star seed. I know my past lifetimes on Pleiades and all of these different places. And I have all of these soul memories that they've shown me, and I've seen them. Like I even know like my past 2 lifetimes here on Earth. And so there's like it is weird because I am 25, but I have seen in split second of moments like whole lifetimes, and then I get these downloads of like all the information that I learned in those lifetimes. But yeah, I would say there's so many beings all around that I love to work with. Recently, one of my favorites is the Egyptian goddess Ma'at, which is she's all about balance and judgment and divine balance, right, between the light and the dark. And I really respect and revere that energy. So those are a couple of those that I love to work with.
I love it so much. I heard I mean earlier you had said something about being in the body. And what this reminds me of the higher self. And like because one of my guests Pam Sears, she was talking about the higher self. And she said the way she described it was I don't know like word for word how she described it, but when my husband and I like he was listening to it and he was like, "Oh my God, the way she described this," which is there you know our bodies this is from my understanding of how she described it our bodies are dense right they're very dense
Mm-hmm.
and then you have your higher self which is you but there's so much of you that cannot this body cannot contain
Mm-hmm.
so you have so much of you that's outside of you right
Mm-hmm.
I mean how would you say that how would you describe that
Yeah.
does that make sense for like
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
you're saying?
Yeah. So the density, or the third dimension, in my opinion, is kind of like, weirdly enough, like the shadow form of our higher self. And so it like reflects itself in the physical body. But I do think we can bring a lot of that higher self into our body. But we have so much of this density and this trauma that says it's not safe to bring your higher self here because you're too vulnerable or you're too soft or things like this. And so we actually have to like work with our dense self or our lower self and be like, actually, it's okay. You're allowed to be a goddess in the physical form. You're allowed to walk on this land in the physical form. You're allowed to be revered and honored in this physical form. You're allowed to be here. Because again, I used to be so dissociative. I would just stay in that higher self all the time. It feels much more comfortable. But I had to learn how much I was bypassing life and bypassing my feelings and my sensations because I didn't want to be in my body. So I have held such reverence now for my body as a physical vehicle, as a vehicle of life. The thing that is the greatest gift that I've been given on this earth is to experience the sensations, right? Because when we're in the higher realms, as an angel, I remember those lifetimes. I don't like food doesn't taste as good as it does down here. Food tastes good down here. There's a denseness to this food that tastes good, right? So I've had to learn what is important about earth, what is important about density, and how can I tune into the respect that I can give this reality. Because again, like I said, I can be in those higher realms very often, and as an angelic being, I can look down upon earth and be like, ugh, it's scum. Like, this is the hood. This is like not a place I would want to be. But I've now recognized and realized that this is the place to bring manifestations into the physical form.
Absolutely.
This is the vessel to bring the higher realms into earth and to see it physically, and all of the beautiful sensations we get to tune into, and allowing the limitlessness to be experienced in the limited. And there's something also so beautiful in having a limited life, because I don't know if I'd want to be like this forever, but I get to play around with this expression in this lifetime. And that's what's beautiful, is it's just like a game. It's a little fun. Like, I get to express myself here and there. I get to feel these deep, dense emotions that I wouldn't feel in the higher realms. And there's such respect that I get to give to this physical reality because of the things that they get to feel. I don't know if that was exactly where the question was, but that's what came out.
No, I love it. I love it. You are 100% free to like let it come out because what's in here is, coming out and I love it. I wish I had been able to there's a way that she said it that was which would make complete sense to you. You know what I mean? It would make so much sense to you and it made sense to me. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it again. But and everything you said is so perfect. It's so perfect. It's so good. Like because I have struggled like with the body for years with my body. And because I'm like you, I am a feeler. I feel everything. I've always been like, even as a child, I was very just like, you know what I mean? Like I was always like daydreaming and just I just
Yeah.
wanted to sprinkle love here and sprinkle love there. I really am a big ball of love. And I wanted everybody to feel loved, and just like, I don't know, a fairy or something. That's just how I see myself as a kid, always wanting to meet friends and hi, how are you? I'm Mandy. You know what I mean? Like that's always been me. Um, but yeah, the higher self is amazing. And the way I saw it was it's just there we can definitely like have that and be in that and let it like totally fill up our bodies, which I love how you said that. And then there's so much of us that's just like, like you said, you're
Yes.
pulling from it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
much of us. Um,
Yeah.
but I love that you talked about the deities and everything that you pull from. And like you said, it's easier to be in the higher realms. Oh, and I was going to ask you this. You mentioned something about the angel of death or the death angel. Will you describe that?
Yes. So I love working with the angel of death. I don't necessarily know if it's gendered, but I see it as like a feminine energy, feminine entity. And it's just this beautiful black, dark angel that comes in when I'm working with a client that might be going through a death to rebirth transformation, or there's some part of themselves that they're like, they need to let go of, or they need to like just die for a moment. And the angel of death will come in and just hold this space. And that can be very similar as well to kind of the mother god energy, but specifically to like this passing of self and letting self move from this old identity to a new identity. And so I really love working with the angel of death for that capacity, because there's such respect there. And I think there's a lot of respect in the lower energies or the lower deities that aren't seen, because they only see them from that dense perspective. But if you see the lower beings, say like the angel of death or even Hecate, from a higher perspective, they look differently. Even the energies of Lucifer, which can be a little controversial, if you see him from a higher perspective, you understand why he's here and the respect that he has to kind of hold a lot of density for reality. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. That's why I wanted you to explain it because people will hear that and be like, "Whoa, what?" That's why I wanted you to go into it
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, and I'm still learning like all of that, all of those things, and like really integrating. But like you said, the death and the rebirth. I mean, I love tarot, And like one of the things, like whenever you pull the death card, and I always have told people, it doesn't mean someone's going to die. It doesn't mean that. It means you are rebirthing yourself. It's a transition inside self, right? So, yeah, that is that's amazing. I love how you describe that.
And kind of going, sorry, real quick, and kind of
No,
going
keep
back
going.
to the higher self conversation. I understand what you're saying, like pulling self back in. I'm very grateful to be a big seer. So like I see my aura and I see the energies around me, and it's like my higher self comes down and there's just this illumination that goes out and around me. And yeah, it doesn't fill the whole human vessel because the vessel is kind of small compared to the energy that I bring in, but I do still see it around me. And so like I still get to hold this container of all of this light of who I am. And so that's kind of just also a different way of allowing my higher self to come in. Maybe it's not in my body fully, but it's all around me. And that's like a beautiful part of working with the aura. And I just love working with the aura. So that's just my other comment on the higher self.
Oh, I love that. I love how you described that. That's exactly what I'm like. I couldn't like put into words, but that's exactly what I'm feeling too, you know. And about our auras, do you see like people's like auras, like colors and things like that, like around them?
Yes, but also no, it's a little bit more complicated than that. Like it's as if I see into the color. And so when I'm working with someone's energy field, like I'll see the color and I'll open it up and be like, what's underneath the color? What's going on here? Because sometimes and sometimes people will have very limited auras, and then I'll try to expand that for them. But it's beyond just color. Like sometimes I'll even see shapes and different deities that come in, or sometimes I see like holes in the aura that I'm like, oh, we need to notice, we need to like patch this up a little bit, or there's just like this siphoning energy or anything like that. So there's a lot more than just the color of the aura that I see. But yeah, there's a lot of depth in all of it. And so I go into every single chakra and I open the chakra, and while I'm opening the chakra, I'll be channeling, or like my higher self will be coming in and channeling what it is that your energy needs. So if I'm in the throat chakra here, I'm opening up the throat chakra. I'm feeling the energy in my hands and I'm opening it up. And then they might show me an image on the inside. Maybe there's like some gunk in there of like something that needs to clear. And so I notice that and I pull that out and I let that move and I let that energy just flow out, just giving it permission. I think the biggest thing that I do with the aura is give permission for the aura to be seen, for self to be seen, for things to move. And sometimes I don't have to say much. Like opening the heart and letting the heart, anything that doesn't serve you, let that go out. And that can be enough for someone. We don't always have to rehash or go into people's traumas, because sometimes that can just reignite trauma in the body. But sometimes just giving permission to let it go is enough.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. I love that. I really
Yeah.
do.
But yeah, that's all about, you know, the aura and seeing the aura, and it's a little bit more expansive than maybe just color, but color is there for sure.
Um, I love it. Oh, I had a question. I should have read it and write it down. You were talking about um oh, this is what my question. Reiki. Okay, so how do you describe like what you're doing? Like how, like, is it Reiki? Is it a form of Reiki? Is it like, what is it? Like what is your description of it?
I would say the overarching description is just energy healing.
Okay.
Um, but also, like, I also see myself a lot as an activator and an initiator. So I do a lot of initiations or ceremonies within that space of like all of these beings coming around and doing ceremonies. But I would say mainly I would call myself just a healer, an energy healer. I have gone through the training of like Reiki 1 and 2, but there is a different energy that's behind Reiki than what I'm doing. And another way that I would describe it also is like quantum energy healing and working a lot in the quantum space, and it's very vast and it's very open. And because I'm working a lot with the dimensions, so a lot of times I'm going in and out of dimensional consciousness, and I'm going in and out of certain places. Again, like maybe I'm channeling with Pleiades, and I'm bringing in a Pleiadian guide into your team to give you information to remember within your body what is going on here. Or again, like I'm in an initiation, maybe there's a client that is being initiated by their team, and all of their team will walk around their field and thump drums and celebrate them and put a little like oil on their forehead and initiate them into the next step of their spiritual awakening. So that's a huge part of my purpose on earth, is to be an initiator and an activator, which can be a little bit different than just a practitioner or a Reiki practitioner or just a healer. So there's a lot that my energy field goes through, and it is fun. Recently I've been meeting a couple other activators, and it is just a very unique energy. It is different than just a healer or someone that is doing more calming energy. I often am like, ooh, there's a lot of energy here. So that's a way that my energy is a little bit different.
You described that so perfectly.
Okay, I'm glad.
That's incredible. Because you did, like, you broke it down, like, the difference,
Yeah.
and like you really do feel the different energy. And one of my favorite words is activator.
Yeah.
And I'm serious, because I feel like, um I mean, and what I do is more of, I'm like, I love, one of my biggest, this is why I started this podcast, honestly. One of my biggest things is to honor people, uplift them, to see who they truly are, see what they're doing. And I've always been that way. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, my husband and I had this long conversation the other day about, there's so many people that have looked at me sideways. Like, is this girl for real? Like, who, are you serious? I've had so many people that absolutely, they have their guards up, right? At first, like, you know what I mean? I'm like, no. My husband was like, I mean, he's known me for 33 years. So he was like, no, that's just you. You're always looking to, my energy encourages, it uplifts, it absorbs, it activates. You know what I mean? And it really, really, and like, I don't know the words for that. I'm gonna have to like tap into like deeper words, what I'm trying to describe. Can you describe that? I don't know.
No, I think that's exactly what it needs to be for you. And sometimes the simpler words are actually better. And I think that's something I've learned throughout my practice, because I can get so quantum and I can talk about all these things up here and understand how this is affecting the DNA and affecting the plasma and all this stuff. And I can get very heady sometimes. So what I've learned throughout my practice is sometimes the simpler is better, and sometimes just letting you speak what is needed to speak is enough. So I think exactly what you said is right. And I love that you're an activator spirit as well. And that is often what attracts other clients or other people to me. Oftentimes I work with other healers and I activate them in their healing journey and in their process as a healer. So that's something I'm very grateful for. And I think you can understand that too, as you're bringing in other healers and working with other healers too. And I love that.
I have
Yeah.
noticed that with you. I
Yeah.
mean, thank you so much for saying that.
Yeah.
And like, I feel it. Um,
Good.
but I've noticed that with you though. I've noticed a lot of people who come into your life, there are a lot of people you work with are healers. And I'm all about healers, healing healers. You know what I mean? Getting us, activating us, and helping us, move into our next levels. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you definitely do that. I've noticed. Um, would you mind like doing like some sort of demonstration, or like, I mean, that's up to you. Like,
Yeah.
I want you to be like 100%. I want people to know what you do. I'm going to I want people to know you. I want people to I'm it's going to be on all of my socials about you.
Yay. Oh, yeah, I would love to do that. We can do a quick little alignment. It probably won't be too long.
Yeah.
Um,
No, just I
but
mean,
yeah, I think that would be great. So what I always love to do when I connect with people, connect with clients, is we put a hand on our heart and a hand on our belly, and we'll take 3 deep breaths in together to connect. So exhale, and then we'll take a deep breath in. And we'll do one more breath here. Oh, wait, wait, are you still there?
I'm here. Can you
That
hear
was so wild. Yes. Of course that happened while we were getting into meditation. Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's okay.
Okay, let's take one more deep breath in and we'll just tune in. Hand on heart, hand on belly. Take a deep breath in. Okay, so what I normally do is I will feel into the aura of the collective and the aura of you here and just your reverence. So I kind of feel into the channel and I'll open up what needs to be opened up. And I normally work crown down because that is normally my clientele are a lot of very high intuitive spiritual beings. And so I kind of open from the crown down and then let the body slowly soften into your root. So that's what I first start off with. I open these spaces. And then I like to bring in some light. So I'm bringing in light from absolute light, absolute heaven energy, and it's going to come down, trickling down into your crown, going into your brain, going through your brain grooves, letting any energy that doesn't serve your mind, body, or soul now release out of the ears, letting it go. We're going to go down into the third eye. I love also that I can feel into the collective that's going to be watching this, and I do feel some people suspicious, and that's okay. If you're feeling suspicious, relax into it. You don't have to take what you don't want. Just allow your body to relax into this knowing that you are much more than your physical body. So we're going to open up the third eye a bit more here, bringing more light down to the third eye, going through the back of your brain, going through the middle of your brain here, connecting the left and the right hemisphere, going down to the back of your neck, bringing this light down through your neck and in and out of your spine, going in and out of your spine. So feel the strength of your spine here. We're just doing a little quick energy alignment through the spine, going down through your hips, your thighs, the back of your thighs, knees, back of the knees, shins, calves, ankles, feet, down into the earth, grounding down. From the bottom of your feet, visualize roots extending deeper and deeper into the earth, going all the way down to the crystalline core, wrapping your roots around the core. And just feel Gaia or Earth holding on to you, magnetizing to you. Feel your energy going down. We're going to go back up. There's many of you, again, in the mind here that are skeptical. You're allowed to be skeptical. Let yourself feel that, but also let energy flow through you if you'd wish, if you'd like. Bringing this light down through the crown, the third eye, and into the throat. Many in this collective are learning how to speak up for themselves, to speak about these things. Many of them in this collective are kind of afraid of what it's like to step fully into self, into this full empowerment of self, like we were talking about earlier, letting the higher self come into the physical body. And that's what's happening here as we're allowing more light to come in. We're allowing that density to say, it's okay. It's okay to release the density. It's okay to release the trauma. It's okay to speak your truth. Letting go of any witch wound or noose wound here. Many of us have had witch wounds where we have had to keep ourselves closed off to not speak our truth. And so I'm just going to notice that and just let go of any suppression here in the throat, anything that people have said within this lifetime and within past lifetimes, and just healing the trauma of earth here and allowing the throat chakra to speak, to be clear, to be in love with life and with expression. Going down into the heart, opening up the heart and allowing self to be seen and to be loved and to be appreciated, bringing more light down into the heart, going through the veins, the arteries, the plasma body, and the electron body, letting that spin throughout all of your cells within your body, bringing the light in deeper and deeper, allowing self to come into a soft space. Deep exhales, releasing any anxiety that might be at the top of your chest and letting it drop down, feeling safe within the body here to be all that you are, no longer running away, no longer resisting, no longer dissociating. Take a deep breath in, collective. Good. Let yourself be seen. That intuitive being on the inside of you that has felt suppressed for a long time, let yourself be seen there. Give yourself love there. Honor you for all that you've gone through in this density. It can be hard to be here and to be so divine. One thing I like to say a lot is that we are 100% human and 100% divine. And allow your body to remember that. We're going to go down into your diaphragm. Take a deep breath in, open that belly. Letting this energy trickle down into the solar plexus, opening up and releasing any doubt, releasing any insecurity or fear of being seen. Allow yourself to be seen in your light. And as I'm here in the solar, I'm seeing the divine Sophia, a light mother god energy coming behind the solar and bringing in this star that is going in through your solar plexus and illuminating through your solar, allowing that to go out and around through your aura. Feeling this ripple of light like a halo going out through your stomach, releasing any inflammation that might be had in your physical body, releasing any inflammation within your sensory or your energetic body here. Letting you feel safe, to be soft, to remember, to trust yourself, to trust others. To allow that to drop down into your womb, opening up the womb here. Notice anything that needs to release, any tension that needs to be noticed. We want to bring forward the inner child. Noticing this inner child has always known who you are, has always known the magic of you. Let the inner child come to the forefront, to be witnessed, and to dance around with yourself now and with your higher self. So feeling the inner child, the self you are here, and the higher self all in this beautiful trinity, this circle, this dance, this celebration that you've come back to yourself, that you remember who you are, and let that be expressed through your womb. Releasing anything of distortion, any suppression of your childlike wonder, any suppression of your imagination or your playfulness, let that release out of your body, dropping down into your root, opening up through the root, letting your body know that it is safe to be here and now. It is safe to be in your body. It is safe to bring your higher light into this physical form to create the heaven on earth bridge that we're here to bring. Opening up that root chakra, feeling any buzzing that needs to move around, any energy that needs to release, let it buzz out. Let it move down to your hips, thighs, back of thighs, knees, back of knees, shins, calves, ankles, and feet down into the earth. Feel this energy moving down. Any energy that doesn't serve you, let it flow into the earth, giving it to the mycelium network or the mushrooms to eat away at the old energy. Letting these roots ground deeper and deeper and deeper into Gaia, feeling this groundedness, feeling the safety, being held by earth. Bringing this energy all the way down, feeling these roots connecting down to the crystalline core. Wrap your roots around the core, feel this tug of safety and of love. And I want you to bring all of this light down to your crown, third eye, throat, heart, solar, sacral root, hips, thighs, knees, shins, calves, ankles, feet, flushing out your channel with light all the way down to the crystalline core. Send this light out and around to humanity as we all heal together, as we all shift together. Honor the shift that has been taken in this now moment. Bringing this energy back up to your roots. Feet, ankles, shins, calves, knees, thighs, hips, roots, sacral, solar, heart, throat, third eye, and crown, all the way up into the heavens, allowing this to be your truth if it feels right to you. And bringing this energy all the way back down and around you in this protective space of love, of compassion, of balance. And then we'll close out just releasing anything that doesn't serve you, letting it go, letting it flow. Gonna bring unconditional love into every cell of your body, illuminating from the inside out, appreciating the love, the joy, the peace, the bliss, the honor of being alive here in this present moment. I see you, I love you, I honor you. Bringing golden light energy all around your aura, keeping you safe, sane, and protected. Bringing abundance all the way through you and into the collective consciousness field as we all shift together. Take a deep breath in. Your energy is yours, collective. And Mandy, thank you for hosting this. And my energy is mine. And so it is. And so it is. I honor you.
Oh, that was incredible. I honor you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I just felt so My ears were ringing during that time, and they normally don't. I mean, they do whenever they need to. Um, and then the mother, like I just kept feeling which
Yeah.
I just felt like this energy around that is just like, I don't know, this dancing divine mother. Breathe. I
Yeah.
don't know. But
Yeah.
oh my God, that was incredible, Lydia. Thank
Hey.
you. I wanted people, I want people to know what you do. I mean, and you come in and even it's very like when Lydia does this, it's very specific to you. Like whenever she's one-on-one with you, she's going exactly into what is needed for you specifically. And each person is so different, but this collective was really beautiful. I felt it, and it was just
Oh, yay.
amazing.
And thank you so much for allowing me to share that with this collective. I'm so grateful to share any healing that I can. Really, it's my life purpose. It's my goal, and so it brings me so much peace and compassion. And it's perfect divine timing too, because my computer is about to die here. So I don't want if it does cut off. I'm really sorry about that. But this was absolutely stunning, and thank you so much for witnessing me and holding a platform for my energy to be seen, and I'm just very appreciative. But again, it's all divine light. Like all of us has this capacity, and so I'm grateful to be a reflection to you as well.
Thank you so much for everything you do. And thank you for just coming on and then like doing this and talking
Yeah.
about your life. And I can't wait for
Yeah.
people to hear it. So I love you
Aw.
so much. You are incredible. And I know I'll be seeing you on your lives. And
Oh.
y'all go see Lydia. I'm gonna have all the information down below. I love
Oh.
you so much. Thank you
Oh,
again.
I love you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. And